Every movie tells a story. Every story tells a tale. Come with us as the people behind the Cinemadness podcast talk candidly about the stories that connect them to their favorite movies. This is Real Stories from the Aisles.
Welcome to Real Stories from the Aisles, brought to you by Cinemadness, the podcast. My name is Roman, and today we're going to talk about something very personal. We're going to talk about 2002's We Were Soldiers and why it's important around this Memorial Day weekend. When we reflect on Memorial Day, at least in the United States, it's very conflicting. And I find that the film We Were Soldiers really does bring up what I think of with Memorial Day. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. But when it comes to Memorial Day, a lot of times I find that my friends and some family members tend to get Memorial Day confused with Veterans Day or even 4th of July. Whereas Memorial Day is really more of a time of mourning to remember those who were lost in conflicts and in military conflicts. And when I reflect on Memorial Day, I reflect on being a kid in military bases and riding bikes up and down a very dark street, or in my memories, a rain-soaked street, and going over to the home of a friend whose parent won't be coming back. And of course, we being the kids, we would do things to help support whatever we could do, mow the lawn, and just be a supporting rod if we could. And We Were Soldiers, I feel, is a great representation of it because it doesn't glamorize war itself. It doesn't become a recruitment film for fill in the blank. And it's also not a negative piece where it shines negative light onto what the conflict is, if you will. It's a very realistic viewpoint of the humans that are involved, not just the ones wearing the uniform, but the children and spouses of those who are affected. When I first watched the movie, I didn't watch it in theaters because at the time I was consumed with work and with school and personal lives, personal stuff, if you will. And I remember kind of rolling my eyes to the idea because I'm thinking it's going to be some pro-military film. In the time period, it was in the heart of Afghanistan, and I actually knew friends who were going off to that, so I had my own personal conflicts with that theater of war, to be completely candid with you. But when I saw the film later on rental, I was very touched. I was very touched because it was taped in Fort Benning, Georgia, and that's a place that my father was stationed. And so I recognized some of the streets, I recognized some of the verbiage, I recognized some of the units that were talked about. So it really touched a personal chord. And in the film, it was such a poetic and thoughtful depiction of what it's like. There are a few films that have done so since, Tora, Bridge Too Far to a degree, as well as other films out there. Fury is another one that comes out, and a few that, unfortunately, the name eludes me at this point. Wind Talkers is a good representation in terms of the conflicts and internal conflicts. But when it comes to We Were Soldiers, there are some scenes out there that tend to not be represented in a film that I feel on this Memorial Day and around the Memorial Day time period that it would be really awesome if we took a moment to watch and just kind of remember why we have time off, and remember why some choose to put flags over graves, and remember why we see some of these social media posts. It's not just about swimming in pools and spending time with family, which is great, absolutely great, and it's absolutely worth your time. The spouses itself, in terms of the effect that conflicts weigh, touched me. And when I first saw the film, I was brought to tears. A bit of nostalgia, a bit of, as we know it these days, member berries, but also the depiction of what is the cost for this conflict. There's other scenes out there where it shows the opposite side, the Viet Cong's side of things, where you see a Viet Cong soldier and he's writing his loved one, and it humanizes the opposite side, as it should be, in my opinion. And the colonel of the film, who also wrote the book We Were Soldiers and Young, which the film is based off of, he took a time after the conflict was over to write the significant other, and I thought that was very poignant. Also, the film took a moment to have the Viet Cong side, as they're monitoring the area of conflict, and the Viet Cong, of course, had a sentiment about, now this is a American war. Now the world will know this as a different type of conflict, and I thought that it was very poignant. He wasn't saying it as a rah-rah speech. It was almost like a sad or somber note. And I do feel that's very important during this time period. Still to this day, I hold the film very, very high in regards, just because of how it's shot, the acting, and what it means to me. Because it's not just a film; it's a piece of my memories. It's a piece of life that I know it. It's a piece of stories that tend to not get covered more than a fluff piece on local news, or maybe every blue moon on 60 Minutes here in the States. And I do feel that we should take some time to think about all aspects of what it is that we're doing. I really do appreciate you taking some time to listen to us and our real stories. It's a pleasure hanging out with you, and I look forward to talking about more fun memories coming up. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please be certain to check out my other compatriots and check out their real stories. And may you have a wonderful holiday if I don't talk to you before then. And thank you very much for stopping by with us and hanging out.